Good afternoon, Rubén.
Good afternoon.
Can I just start with some team news from you?
No, we have Tino and Juan as long-term injuries. They will not be with us tomorrow, and the rest is full availability.
Looking at the last two performances, it seems that the side maybe played with a bit more freedom at Old Trafford last weekend against Manchester United and in midweek against Brentford. Usually home games should, inverted commas, be the easier games, but at the moment, maybe it's the pressure of the home fans, are home games actually maybe the more difficult games for Southampton?
No, I don't think so. I think we went through the game against Leicester. Unfortunately, we didn't make it against Brentford. We prepared the games in the same way. I know the results at home has not been the one that we wanted, but we don't feel any pressure to play in front of our fans. We are confident in what we do. Some games we can lose football matches, but we need to perform. I think Wednesday was about key moments of the game that we were not there, and we are fully ready for tomorrow. So it's not extra pressure to play at home. The opposite should be a booster for us to be ready to go and compete for everything at home.
I've never known a season like this where late in March you've still got 9 teams involved in a relegation battle. Do you pay attention to how the other teams get on, or do you have to just focus on Southampton?
No, because the problem is that when you pay attention about getting 1 point, getting out of the bottom, then somebody wins, then you are in the bottom. It's not healthy because you lose energy in things that you cannot control. So now our work will be to be our very best in every game, and then in the end of the season, I'm sure we will be out of there. But first, we need to focus in our performance, in what we can control, not focus too much in what the league say, because then it's a continuous stress for everything, and that's not what we want, and that's not how we want to work here.
It just goes to show though how tight the race is that Crystal Palace, who are sitting 12th on the table, have sacked their manager this morning.
Yeah, well, we know it's football, and we know as a manager, and I'm pretty sure that Patrick knows, and it's never a good news that somebody gets sacked. But it's football, and Patrick is a person of football. We know that unfortunately these things happen, and when the results are not there, and it happened for all of us in one point or the other in our career, then the clubs make a decision. I just wish all the best for Patrick, and we move on.
About tomorrow's opponents, I know you're a student of the game, and you'll have probably studied a lot of coaches. I imagine you've got a great deal of respect for Antonio Conte. Do you find it a bit crazy that Spurs fans, some of them want rid of Antonio Conte, that he's under pressure in his job when they're sitting 4th on the table?
Well, I'm not surprised about anything in football. I have a big respect for Antonio. I think he fought his way to the top, and I think his teams from the Italian national team, when I met him a couple of times when they play in Baku, to his Juventus, Inter Milan, Chelsea when he was there, and now Tottenham, it's always an identity, always solid, always very difficult to beat. And he has been one of the top coaches in the last 10 years. So it will be my pleasure to play against him and to try to beat him with the biggest respect always.
On those occasions that you met him, did you have a chance to sit down and talk with him, and what did you talk about?
Yeah, well, I have when they play in Baku, it was the last game for the qualification. I don't remember the year. I think it was for the Euro. It was the last game of Andrea Pirlo for the national team before the Euro, and then he never played again. So we meet there. I know part of his staff in that moment. And then we meet also when we play with Karabakh against them in the Champions League, and we meet after the game. I have a good chat. So, yeah, we meet a couple of times.
Were you picking his brains, trying to ask him advice as a young manager?
No, you always, for me, it's interesting to speak always with the top managers. You always pick something from them. As Kobe Bryant said, you don't need to invent the wheel if the wheel has already been invented. You just need to speak with the people that did the thing. So. For me, it was a pleasure in that moment, and it's a pleasure now to stay in front of them and to try to make my very best to beat them. Thank you.
Hi, good afternoon. Did you feel after Man United and then Brentford that it's potentially one step forward and then maybe 2 steps back?
Well, I don't feel that it's 1 step forward and 2 steps back. I just feel that in every process you have these ups and downs, and in the same way that I think we have been doing some good performances in the last month, I also think that sometimes can happen that you make a performance that is a little bit unexpected. So I just take it as a normal thing that can happen. It will be better if everything is good, is positive, and then you win all the football matches and your performance is excellent. But we know life is not like that. So I think it's part of the process, and we go again.
How are you hoping to take advantage to exploit this weekend the inconsistency that Spurs are showing?
Well, I would say that inconsistency is to say too much to a team that is in the top four. Of course, we analyze the opponent, we analyze what we can do against them, and we try to make a game that it will put us in a very good position to win. And that's what we expect. That the things that we can control, how we can make the points that we want from the game plan, we obviously analyze them and see what we can do. And we are going to go for everything, as I told you before.
When you look at your own team, what's the biggest area of improvement you're hoping to see in order to stay up this season?
Well, I just say that it's not only one area that we improve. I think it's everything from the situations in the key moments last game, from the defensive and offensive set play perspective, to some situation in the last third, defending their own box. I think always it's not only one thing. I think we are constantly trying to improve our game. And there is some areas that we are having a little more interest, as I told you. But for me, football is constant, and every area affects the other one. So, not one really specific.
It's a very tight relegation battle. What do you think would be the margins that will decide eventually who will stay up?
Yeah, the margins is going to be 1 point or even equal point. I think it's going to be like that until the very end.
And in terms of the confidence levels from the players, what do you notice from them in terms of the chances of staying up?
Of course, we are confident that we can do it. We already make a good run of performances in the last month, again with up and down, and then we are confident if we do our game and we control the game, we put all the key moments that we want, and then we learn from the situations, like for example against Brentford, we can stay up, and I think they know. I think they are confident. I think they are starting to get some flow in the game, and we are confident we can do it. Of course. Thank you.
Rubén, just on from the conversation about Palace, how much of this running do you think is going to be about the mentality, the nerve that everyone holds? Because it's going to keep going week after week. This isn't going to be resolved quickly, this bottom three. So how much is it about ability? How much is it about mentality?
Absolutely, it's all about that. It's all about that. It's all about focus. It's all about mentality. It's about to try to control the things. It's all about habits. It's all about thinking in yourself first. And it's all about to reduce the noise from the table or from outside every time, because we have our example. 1 month ago, everybody thought that we were relegated, we were the bottom, and we will have no chance to survive. And then now it's a completely different picture. So I think the mentality is everything. Of course, the football is very important. But sometimes teams that didn't expect to be there, they are there. Teams that have been there for the whole season just find the confidence and win 2 or 3 matches. It's not going to be over until the very end, but it's about who's more stronger in mind, who can do things and then take ownership of the game and show more of the own principles and put it in the game than really a couple of situations football-wise. It's about how strong you are as a group, how is your mentality, how you prepare the games, and how you can stay together in all those moments and reduce the noise and be focusing where you need to control.
What are the elements you've analysed since Wednesday to get right for tomorrow? Because you were less of a threat against Brentford in the final third than you were against Manchester United, for example. So how do you freshen that up? What have you decided? Were you too narrow? Did the players not push on the fullbacks enough? What did you think of it? What have you tried to get improved?
Yeah, well, we didn't get all the principles that we want against Brentford, and we have different. We have the same principles with different angles to attack. So analyzing there, you always win the game after the game when you can solve the solution. So what we did is to analyze if the what is that we have from the beginning and what happened in the game and how we can attack. Of course, it's a different game, but if we may use a different player or a different angle to attack different situations or the deliveries in the box, all of that we are putting in place, and then tomorrow is a different challenge, but we learn from some of the key moments of the game against Tottenham.
You've obviously decided rightly to have a core of players who you need to rely on week in, week out. Now, when you have a defeat like Wednesday though, do you not need to give hope to other players that they can fight their way into the team?
I think every player should have the hope into the team if they work hard and they are really happy with what they are doing. Again, it's about control. They can control their performance and what they do every day. Then I will make the decision. I think the boys are there. I can understand that the perspective from outside can be that somebody is disappointed. And sometimes somebody is disappointed because he's not playing. Because all of us in any single job we think that we can do it. And the decision, that the fact that somebody else needs to make a decision is a little bit difficult in football. But I think we have a core of players that have been playing, but we have also been rotating some of the positions, and we have been successful in that. So tomorrow it can go one way or the other.
Just finally, with the game coming before international break, whatever anyone says, nobody wants to sit on a defeat for 2 weeks and think about it. And yes, you're in a process of going through things. But how important tomorrow not to lose, to take something into that international break for everyone?
Well, I don't want to sit in the defeat for 1 hour. That's what I can tell you. Imagine for 2 weeks. So, and I will prepare every game to win the game, to make it the best performance we can, and to get the results. So that's what I want for tomorrow. In my mind I don't think about what will happen if then we sit for two weeks with a defeat. In my mind, it's just all about what we can do today, what we can do tomorrow, how it's going to be the game, support the boys during the game, and then get the very best of it with a great performance. And then what it will come, will come.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, move on to the section for 10:30 this evening. Start the objection.
Obviously, much has been said about the goal scoring issues. Because Southampton are building this reputation for not being able to find the net, do you feel the players have it in the back of their mind whilst they're training in games?
No, I think, as I say, it's a common thing for the team, and it's not something that has been in a short term. So we are working and trying to find the way, and I think we are going to find the way sooner than later. But if we are not finding our way, we just need to keep the zero in the opposition goal. Not being a defensive team, being a team that knows what it needs to do defensively wise. So I think when we win, when we lose, when we attack, when we defend, it's a team thing. Everybody should understand the principles, because in the end of the day, everybody should be able to score goals and everybody should be able to defend. So we have taken not the problem, we have taken the moment as the same as we take other situations in the game, and then we are working on it. Sometimes some situations you get better quicker, some situations you need a little bit more time. And of course, you play against opponents in the best league in the world, so sometimes it's just difficult to get this rhythm to score goals.
What do you put the lack of goals down to? Is it inconsistent patterns of play, confidence, quality in front of goal?
No, I think it's a little bit of everything. It's a little bit also in the situations that we are. Sometimes when you are in a situation where the team gets the flow, then you get the cross, and this cross that before it was not exactly the best cross, now the player is getting the timing and putting the foot there. Sometimes it's about just to breaking that chain, and it's an own goal or a ball that didn't expect to go into the net. So we analyze everything. And I don't think it's lack of quality. We have a quality in the team. I think we need to give ourselves better chances to score goals, analyze what is in the principles, who is making this run, how we can attack the next opponent, giving for them the keys, and then with the idea, they need to play the idea. And I think we are in our way, and hopefully soon we will see the results.
Obviously, Mohamed Ali Musi came in the other night. What are his particular strengths? What brings him into that team where you can rely on him?
Well, I think more is reliability for everybody and relations. And then I know his position is as a 10 on the left or on the right. I think he's a player that will do everything to complete the position. And then I'm very pleased with his performance. And we used him at Brentford as a 10 on the right side, moving a lot of times in the red zone or making penetrations. Also a player that can defend and attack set plays. And in the pressure is one of the boys that we know is best in every single moment of the pressure. So with Moy, I have no doubts when I need to bring him to the pitch.
Do you see Tennis' best position? Because he's played so many this season. He's played right wing back, Ali Musi. Do you see number 10 as his fixed position? Yeah,
I think number 10 is his position. I think number 10 on the right or on the left is his position. Sometimes in a system with a 4-3-3, number 8 on the left-hand side. Yes.
And just finally, you've spoken about the adjustment period for Kamaldeen. How has he settled in? What are your initial impressions on him?
Well, I know Kamaldeen since we were in Denmark. He played for Nordsjælland, and he was a fantastic winger or a striker. I think he's a boy that has a trained to adapt very quick. He has been living here in England before, Denmark, then went to France, then come back here. And I think he's finding himself in the dressing room. He's a boy that everybody have just the take that is very quick to get in the system, and then we just need to as with any other player, just to continue working with him to make him improving in the game. He's getting the tempo of the Premier League. He got 90 minutes also the last game that he has not been able to do it for a really long time. So I think he's adapting well, and then I think he has some good performances. Now we need to find him in the final third and continue working with him. Thank you.
Yeah, Rubén, good afternoon. I'm going to ask you more about the lack of goals, because I know that's something that Southampton fans are thinking a lot about. And it feels like a lot of times this season, under Ralph, under Nathan, and under you, there's been an emphasis on defending and staying solid and not conceding goals. And it has worked in part. I mean, you've obviously kept 3 clean sheets under you, which was more than previously, but you've also lost 10 games this season without scoring a goal. And I think fans feel that maybe there's a lack of bravery in the team, that maybe there needs to be a little bit more of a gung-ho attitude to try to get on the front foot, because they're seeing the results like Brentford, they're seeing these games where you keep losing without scoring a goal, and I'm wondering if you feel you do have the balance right, or if you need to be a little bit more braver.
Well, if they feel lack of bravery, they can see the build-up with Gavin, Armel and Jan in the last game against Brentford, or how we are trying to build up from the back. I don't think it's lack of bravery. I will take those things out of the equation. I think sometimes it takes time to build something. I think because we changed a lot in the last year, it's not easy to find the connections. And then once you find the connections and you find the principles, then it's just about finding the flow and the players to do it. So I know people is worried about that, and I don't pretend to shout defensive. I don't think our approach is a defensive approach at all. I think what we are doing is just try to defend high, try to apply pressure and try to win the ball higher. And when we have the ball, we are not a team that are kicking the ball long and then guessing for something. We are a team that trying to build up. You can see the patterns. You can see also the adjustments from game to game. Sometimes work, sometimes a little bit less. So I would say for us, for me, for this period, it's a process. I will not evaluate before, because it's not the correct thing to do. And I hope and I think after the work that we put, that we will become better sooner. But I understand the concern, because it's facts.
Yeah, I think part of the concern also is that they see this team who the forwards haven't scored a goal since the World Cup, and all the goals are coming from midfield, yet it's felt like the same group of forwards continue to start, where you've got guys like Joe Aribo, Samuel Edozie on the bench, who fans feel is offering a little bit more of a spark, where it feels like the players who are playing are there for their reliability, their pressing, their defensive work, and that I think is getting people into the mindset that this team is trying to defend only rather than go forward when those other players aren't getting opportunities.
Well, it's interesting, because I didn't have that perception. So if you have that perception, maybe I should communicate in a better way. I just think that I can live with my strikers not scoring a goal in the whole season, but doing everything properly. Because as you see, Shea Adams, we are using him in the link-up play many times, but is free in the space for some others. And right now we are in a situation that it's not about who scored the goal, it's about that scoring the goals also. And if we sound that it's a defensive approach, maybe I made a mistake trying to send that message, because it's not like that. We have our patterns. I think we show it. I think we show dominance some of the periods also, The same Manchester United game, we have situations in the box, and it was not because we were not brave, we didn't have the quality, or because of one name or the other. It was the team make agreed for 11 against 11 or 10 against 11. So I don't see a problem there. The titles or whatever, I think is more for you to evaluate. I just think that we are working, we are improving, and if, like in many areas, we will do it also scoring goals.
I guess, though, that is the fear, that you say that the team's improving going forward, but there hasn't really been the evidence of that yet. I mean, if you look at statistics like expected goals, they're not really rising. I think you've had 1 or less expected goals in 3 of your 5 games in charge. The actual goals aren't coming either. I mean, fans aren't, I guess, seeing that improvement as much as they want to believe that it's there.
Yeah, well, it's difficult to go to Old Trafford and Chelsea and have a high expected goal. So I will just put those facts a little bit relative. Don't try to make anything fancy from you, like something that we need to jump in. So I don't see a problem. I just think solutions and situations to solve, and I will not make something bigger than that. I can understand all the points of view, but it's as simple as it is.
Rubén, you obviously know Ralph well from working together at the start of the season. Do you think he'd fancy the Crystal Palace job, and could you be against each other?
No, I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea about that.
fine.
That's what I can tell you.
No, that's all good. Obviously, Wednesday you play against Ivan Toney, who's in the England squad. You've got Harry Kane coming up this weekend. You know, what do you make of Harry Kane? I guess obviously probably never been against him before in the game, in the first game of the season. But looking from afar, you sort of, you know, incredibly impressed with how consistent he's been against for such a long time.
No, yeah, I have been against Harry Kane. We played Tottenham with Karabakh in the Europa League in 2015, and then he scored the 1-0 in Baku in a corner kick in the first post. Yeah, so I have been against Harry Kane a couple of times. Also the game in the old stadium in Weihar Line when they didn't make before they just fixed it and then make the new stadium. So yeah, I think Harry Kane. I don't have anything to add about what Harry Kane is. You just his career and his numbers and his personality as a captain in the national team. Just speak about it. So anything I say will not add any value.
Yeah. How do you stop him tomorrow? I know $1 million question, isn't it? But
Well, as with any others, we are a ball-oriented pressure. We will not stay on fixing only one striker because I think Son Heung-min or Kulusevski or Richarlison, Perisic arriving to that position, Pierre-Emile Højbjerg arriving in the second wave. They have a lot of good players with a lot of danger. So we just set up a system that it can stop them to connect and mainly stop their counter-attacks. That's what it is. I think is one of the main weapons for them.
yeah, obviously Kane in the England squad, Ivan Toney as well. James Ward-Prowse missed out like he did for the World Cup. How is he after that? I'm guessing disappointed. And does it kind of worry you in terms of his future that he's performing really well but keeps missing out on the England squad?
No, well, we have the philosophy that we need to concentrate in the things that we can and put and control the things that we can. So we cannot control if Gareth and Steve will call him for the national team or not. We just can control what we put in every day. I think for me, Prowse is our captain and has been a model in the pitch. For me, he always need to be there. But I'm not the one making the list, and I guess when they make the list, they have their own reasons, people understanding of or not. But I respect the job. We will take care of Prowse, and we will try to do our job even better for him to be there in the future. I don't see also that he's taking it as internally or any problem. So he's just continue working hard and doing his job for this club that is huge. So we will take it, and I hope that he will be there in the future.